Howdy, howdy, howdy. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome back to MCubed. I am your host, Harris, and today we are doing another Tick It or Skip It, this time over the film Beast. So what is a Tick It or Skip It, you may ask? It is when I ask 4 questions, and by the end of those 4 questions, we figure out whether you should go get a ticket for this movie, whether you should skip the movie, or maybe you should go get a ticket, but go in with a little bit of trepidation. Now, the 4 questions I ask are, was this film fulfilling? Were the characters' arcs within the film fulfilling? Did I personally like this film? Do I believe you will enjoy this film? Now, let's do further. So, did I find this film fulfilling? Was Beast itself fulfilling? Well, I would say it's a beautiful and actual, wonderful exercise in tension. It is a really good thriller movie. I was kind of surprised in how much I enjoyed it at the end of the day. I would say it was fulfilling, and I would say it's fulfilling because I think Balthazar Kormaker, the director of this film, did a really good job of keeping you in a very small, kind of precise location. There are a couple smaller kind of locations they do run back and forth between, but ultimately it's a very precise area, and with that precise area, he's done a really good job of bringing that tension and keeping you wondering what's going to happen next. Is that lion going to pop up? Is that lion going to take out one of our characters? There's a lot going on in a small amount of area, and it's well done. I would say it's very fulfilling. Now, that brings us into the character arcs. Would I say that Idris Elba as Dr. Nate Samuels was a fulfilling character? Yeah, actually. Maybe not 100% fulfilling. I'd say he really damn fulfilling. It was a really interesting character for Idris Elba. You don't usually see him play doctor. I did like it. It was very simple. His skills do come in handy. Of course, they're being attacked by lions. I would say Idris Elba as Dr. Nate Samuels was a fulfilling arc. Maybe not his most fulfilling he's ever done by any means, but it's also well done with how simple everything is. And I would say the same thing for the daughters of the film, Nora and Meredith Samuels. They were played by Leah Jeffries and Deanna Halley, respectively. And I would think that maybe they're not as fulfilling of arcs, but it's right up next to it. Their arcs are almost fulfilling because of how Idris Elba acts as a father towards them in the film and how the film ends itself. I would say it's fulfilling for them. It's most definitely fulfilling for them. Now that brings us to our last main character, which is Sharlto Copley's Martin Battles. Now, if you have the name of Martin Battles, you're gonna have a pretty cool role. And this guy is the guy that is obviously in the trailers. He's the one that looks like he's in the most danger a lot of the times, and a lot of the times he is. And that's because he has the skills to put himself in danger and be a little more comfortable with putting himself in that danger instead of putting the 2 girls or his friend Dr. Nate Samuels in that kind of position. And I think Martin, played by Sharlto Copley here, does a fantastic job. He is really where that tension comes from a lot of the time whenever it's not the lion. He's the one that's bringing the gravitas of their situation at hand to the forefront of the film, and I think he does excellent with what he's given, and I would definitely say that he has the most fulfilling arc in total, and I'll leave it at that because you need to go see what happens there. So that brings me to the question, did I personally like this film? Well, I kind of went into it. I wasn't expecting it to be as enjoyable as I found it. It kept you on the edge of your seat. It didn't do so with giving the whole theater anxiety or anything. We're not watching Uncut Gems, but that nature and that natural tension of a predator losing its mind, essentially. You should watch the very first sequence. It gives you just a little bit of backstory for that lion, and it gives you a heartfelt feeling for the lion, but at the same time, a lion killing a bunch of innocent people, you lose that pretty quickly. You can also see why the lion's doing what it does. It's interesting. There are a lot more levels to this film than I expected there to be, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, I like this film. And then that brings me to our 4th question. Do I think this film is worth you watching? We're not going to go see one of those big giant blockbusters, but we're going to go see a really well-made independent film from this Icelandic filmmaker that decided to go to Africa, in South Africa particularly, and make this film. And yeah, I'd say go support him. It's not large, but we need more films like this where we're not just so beholden to a superhero or this. And I'm not poo-pooing anything within those industries at all. I love superhero movies, I love sci-fi, I love fantasy and all these different things. But that really personal story, that small-scale story, but done with a slightly bigger budget like this, is very rarely seen today in today's time. And it really brings the storytelling to the forefront. The VFX are wonderful. I would say that this is worth you watching. That brings us into our ticket, our skip it, or our ticket with trepidation. And you know exactly what I'm going to say at this point. Go support your filmmakers. We want people to be inspired to keep making films like that. We want people to be inspired to make those kind of worlds themselves. And it's going to be directors like this that do things like that. I think it most definitely deserves a ticket. So go give it a ticket and go watch it as soon as you can. We know there's another Idris Elba movie coming out next weekend called 3,000 Years of Longing. I'm looking forward to that. So check out our Woogers down below. Woogers are a haptic feedback sound listening device, and these things are the coolest thing in the world. though. This thing jams along with you to your music, gives you your own personal bass within your own body, essentially uses your body as a subwoofer. I don't know if that's the correct science or anything, but that's what it feels like. And I love these things. It makes movies, music, and video games just infinitely more fun. This is the coolest thing in the world with movies. And if you'd like to help and support our channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one.